Hi guys! Today I want to talk about butternut squash. Now, I watch the Facebook groups and I belong to a lot of different ones about plant-based eating and vegan eating and recipes and cooking and all of that. And I watch for questions. And if I have an answer and it's a short answer, I'll type that in. And if it's a much longer, more intense question or answer, and I have made a video about it, I'll just plug in my video in the comment section so that people can see that long, drawn-out answer. But I watch for these questions because it gives me ideas for making videos. Because if someone's asking that question, then there's a need. Someone needs to know, and usually more than one, right? So that's the whole reason for me, joining those groups. Sometimes I'll find answers or new recipe ideas, but if you stayed with me for a while, I don't do a whole lot of variations. I have my favorites and I kind of stick to that. And so if you see a lull in my videos for a while, it's because I'm not really making anything new, okay? So today I want to talk about butternut squash. And the reason for that is I grew up in central Northern California, right in the valley, farmland. We were poor farmers, and my mom was a single mom, and she worked, and from the time, that I could do it by myself, I was, watching my sisters and taking care of them after school. And so I didn't really learn to cook because there was no one around to teach me. And it was just whatever, canned food that mom bought that I could heat up for me and my sisters because she was at work. And so it wasn't until I was out of the house and married till I started learning to cook. And I realized that it's our whole generation, my generation, and the generations that are coming after me, my children and grandchildren, of course, that are now growing up. People have to work and they're not home to cook. And so there's a lot of knowledge that isn't getting passed down, right? And so that's the reason for these videos as well, is because it's simple little knowledge that just isn't getting passed down. I never had butternut squash when I was growing up. Never had any kind of squash. We had our certain favorites, and that's what we stuck with. It was corn and green beans and peas. A lot of hamburger. Never saw an actual sweet potato or a yam. Yams they came in those great big cans, and they were Thanksgiving. And they were loaded with butter and brown sugar and marshmallows, and that's the way we ate them. And how sad is that we had these wonderful vegetables that have their own flavors and their own sweetness to them. But the only way we knew to eat them was to throw on lots and lots of sweetness and gooey stuff to convince people to eat them. And how sad is that? And going plant-based, I had to learn not only to cook, and to cook, new and unique foods that I'd never had before, but to learn to appreciate the natural flavors of the food. And so this may seem kind of silly to you, this video, once you get to the end of it, but that's why I'm kind of explaining before I get there. I never had one of these until I was in my late 30s. And at that point, I cooked them, and I put butter and maple syrup or honey. Usually it was honey, or brown sugar. And that was the way I ate it, because that's the way I was raised. It resembled those canned yams to me. Once I, cooked it and tried it, that's what it resembled to me. So that was the way I cooked it. I loaded it with brown sugar and butter. And so I want to teach you not to do that. So first, if you've never ever had one of these, they're quite hard, okay? So you're going to wash this, and this just came out of, straight from the farmer's box, so it's a little bit dirty. So you're going to wash the outside. Don't bother with peeling it. And the first time I tried to cook them, I tried to peel the outside, and it was very hard to do it and took a very long time. Don't even worry about that, okay? Just wash it and make sure it's clean. You're going to take your largest, sharpest knife and put this down on your cutting board and start about here and just go straight down and then work your knife, okay? Work your knife until you cut it exactly in half, okay? And then this part is fine, but this bulbous part, there's going to be like a seed pod inside there, okay? Right inside there. And just take a spoon, a big spoon, like a soup spoon, and scrape those seeds and that, it's going to be a little bit slimy, that membrane out, okay? Scrape that out. And then just put it on your cookie sheet and bake it, okay? And mine's a little well done, and that's just because I put it for a little extra time. I poked it with my fork and it wasn't quite done, so I stuck it in longer, okay? And skin side down, because now that this is cooked, that skin is just gonna come right off, okay? Look at that, it just comes right off. All right, I cook at 400 degrees at about an hour, okay? I did it 45 minutes first and it wasn't quite enough. So about an hour, and poke it with a fork, and if it's soft, it's done. I don't put butter, I don't put my syrup or honey or brown sugar. I don't put anything on it. This is the way I eat it, okay? And that's the way I like it. Now you can cube it and put it in a soup, excuse me, or put it in some kind of a stir fry with other foods. You can do all of those things, but before you start adding it to other recipes, eat it all by itself. Get the natural goodness of it and learn to appreciate the flavor of that natural food. And that's all you have to do. And I know this is a little bit long because I told my whole story with it, but a lot of you grew up like I did, or are growing up like I did. And so you haven't experienced all the wonderful plant-based foods that now we get to try and learn and enjoy. And I hope that you are doing that. Okay? Have a great day, guys.